why should I buy a combi? What is a combi? A combi is a convection oven, a steamer, and a combination, steam and convection oven, where I add steam and convection mode. Not is it only a steamer. It's a way better steamer than your regular steamer that you have, your 6 cavity or your 12 cavity steamer, where you can steam at 212 degrees. Okay? There's one company who has a super steamer who does 240 all the time. But if I don't need 240, I'm like cooking broccoli at 240, I think it's going to be all black. The fish is going to shrink because it's way too hot. Regular steam is 212 degrees, always, right?
At sea level.
At sea level, yeah. Now, if I go to higher steam, to super steam, the 240 or 257, I believe that we have, this is actually not steam anymore, it is combi steam. Because you put some heat into the cavity with your elements, and you heat up the steam. Once above 257, the steam is escaping way too fast. Okay, we can still do 100% steam at 257. That's it. After that, you're never gonna have 100% steam in your cavity. It evaporates. And we use that for root vegetables. Everything that grows under the ground, I use it for rice, I use it for pasta. Now, 212 degrees, regular steam, vegetables. You know, I almost don't use it anymore. I go to super steam or I go to low temperature steam, but actually it's humidity control. Okay? I go to lower temperature steam because if I do green vegetables, and I do fish and shrimp, okay? Another green vegetable. I'm gonna keep the nutrition more in the vegetables by cooking at a lower temperature. I do between 160 and 180. Every chef is going to do it different. I'm never going to say to a chef, you have to cook it this way. I always recommend. Okay, never tell a chef how he has to do it, because you're out of the door from the beginning.
Especially if you're going to eat his food.
Anyway, I have less shrinkage. My vegetables are nicer green and they keep longer green also. I can let them sit. Broccoli, I can let it sit in the front where they serve it. It's going to be green after an hour, looking fresh. Still, shrimp, salmon. Shrimp is not going to shrink because it's lower temperature. The salmon, if you steam salmon, you ever saw salmon where you have all that white shit on top of it? I call it white shit, albumin. That's because they steam it at too high temperatures. If you do lower temperatures, you're not going to have the albumin hoods coming up out of it. Okay? Yeah. Then we have even lower temperature steam. Between 135, you're going to say that's holding, right? What is the holding temperature? 130. Once you are above 131, you start cooking.
Really?
That was in the old days, it was 140.
I did myself.
That was the handset control in the United States who told everybody 140 is the holding temperature. It's cooking. If I put a piece of beef in there and I put it at holding at 140 overnight, you know, and it starts holding at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I only need it by noon, that beef is going to be overcooked because 140 is cooked. Like everything who has been cooked, you want to reheat it. You don't need to cook it till 165, 145. you have to reheat it. Okay? Cooking at 145. What would you cook in it? It's a special technique, and they use fish tanks now for that. Use that already? No? A fish tank, a water tank with a circulator in there.
Sous vide.
Sous vide, yes.
Not that I know of.
You don't know?
Sell them.
No, we don't do sous vide, but I know the process.
You know sous vide, right? That they put food in a kind of plastic bag. They put spices in it.
I've not seen it, no.
You don't see it in Texas?
Hotels use it mostly because they pre-cook. If you go to a hotel, some of the hotels, like let's say a Hyatt, you go in at the restaurant at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock at night and you order a chicken parmesan. You think there's a chef in the kitchen who's going to do the chicken parmesan? They go into the cooler, they pick up the bag, and they re-thermalize it. They just reheat it. They snip the bag, they put it on the plate, they serve you. It tastes great.
And they're using a combi oven to do that?
Or a fish tank. But if you have
Re-thermalize it.
I call that a fish tank because if I have that sitting on my table and I'm done cooking, I have to transport that water, usually with 2 people, and then I have another one next to it with ice water because once it's cooked, I want to quick chill it.
Right.
Okay? So I have 2 fish tanks. And if one bag is busted, that water is disgusting. Okay? So that's not the way to do sous vide. That's not. It works. It's the cheap way. And after a year and a half, that circulator breaks anyway.
It's a primitive way.
It's the old-fashioned way. That's how I did it 40 years ago in Europe. Okay? So I can do it in my combi. And if I have a blast chiller, I take it from my combi steamer and put it in the blast chiller instead of in ice water.
Okay.
Now, cooking sous vide, you have 0% shrinkage, 0% flavor loss, and I use only 1/3 of the spices in the sous vide that I normally would use this way.
Because it marinates in the bag, in the toast.
Right, overnight.
And then the other thing also, by cooking sous vide, if I do it correct, cooking and blast chiller, I have 27 days of shelf life on my chicken breast.
Wow.
So I can buy a whole bunch of chicken, what I need for the whole month, and one day I'm cooking chicken, the whole day. And I have chicken for the whole month at a good price.
And also, if you're a commissary, let's assume, and I'll take the Hyatt as an example, let's assume there's 5 Hyatts in the Dallas area. The one Hyatt will cook all these meals and distribute to the other Hyatt. So they're reducing their cost per meal.
Yeah.
Normally the food cost should be under 40%, between they say 28 and 40. By doing it sous vide style, you can reduce that food cost down to 20-25% because you buy chicken at a special. Now you got a ton of chicken, what you going to do with it? You need to process it, you need to cook it, you need to pack it, you need to portion it, pack it, and have it available for the next 4 weeks. Especially when you know that there's a Cowboys game, and that Cowboys game, let's say, what happened in Phoenix a week ago with a Super Bowl.
You think they were cooking for all these people that day?
Yeah, no.
They were cooking weeks and
Exactly. So this is the benefit of advanced cooking where you can reduce your cost, but you need the tool. And this is the tool for exactly.
Okay.
What do they call it? You say sous vide.
Sous vide. S-O-U-S-V-I-D-E.
Yes, sous vide.
Sous vide.
That's the style of cooking.
Yeah.
Sous vide is
S-O-U-S-V-I-D-E.
cooking, packing, and washing.
Right.
Packing, and then just reconstituting, bringing it back basically to an edible point. To a point where people will eat it.
And they cook at low temperatures because they can hold it longer and they have very less shrinkage. It cooks a little lower. Anyway, So I have a convection oven, I have a steamer, I have a high temperature steamer, I have a low temperature steamer, and I have a sous vide. Right? All in one piece of equipment. We're not done yet. If I go to convection mode, so I'm gonna do manual, and I'm gonna go highlight, and I'm gonna go to convection mode. Okay? Convection mode. Everybody knows a convection mode, right? You have heat with a fan. An oven underneath a range that they call a convection oven. I don't call it that a convection oven. That's a fan in a can. A convection oven is built so that you have even baking by the fan who's turning with baffles and all that stuff. And you normally should be able to cook 5 or 6 pans at a time. And a convection oven underneath, you do 1 pan and you're lucky if it's good work. On our convection oven, we have 5 fans. And I can control the humidity in the convection oven. The humidity that comes from the product, not the humidity that I put in.
You can't control it.
Okay?
In a convection oven, no control.
No, in a convection oven you cannot control that. I can control the fan speed and the temperature. Okay? So if let's say, an example, I do 1 chicken. I'm gonna have little humidity. I put my humidity at 30%. I'm gonna have not that much humidity. If I do 100 chicken, that's gonna be lots of humidity. But I still put them at 30%. The oven is gonna control that and suck out the 70% that I have too much in the oven. Okay? Actually, convection oven in that mode where we suck out the humidity is more for pastry. Okay? 5 fan speed, different, because sometimes if you do muffins, ever heard that the muffin goes smirching? That's because the fan speed is too high. We go from static to 5 fan speed. Completely static. Nobody has static. In a convection oven or a combi. Nobody has that. We have that in steam and in convection modes and in combi. Now, I'm going to create another piece of equipment.
So you're saying that rationale does not have
Have a static. No.
Okay.
You say steady.
Static. No fans.
Okay.
Okay?
But with no fan, it still senses the humidity and removes that and keeps it
Right.
regulated.
Yeah. And I'm going to create another piece of equipment in this oven, also that rational cannot do. I'm going to go low temperature at 110, 115, it depends on the product that I put in. I'm going to do static heat and suck all the humidity up. So open the vent 100%. What do I have? It's a piece of equipment that you know. And yeah?
Just low temp, steady,
Yeah.
heat
Jerky beef?
Okay. Dehydrator.
Dehydrated.
Yeah.
Dehydrated. So I have dehydrated. And on top of it, when I dehydrate, I can suck in some smoke.
So you can
And do a cold smoke.
You can do cold smoke because our smoker is outside the oven and not inside the oven.
You're right, right.
And you hook the smoker up to one of those pipes or something?
Now it's here up, and the pipe goes in this one, and it sucks in this one. Okay? So that's another piece of equipment, convection oven and dehydrator.